Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm here to review yet another board game. This is a game that was sent to me by a really cool dude I met at Gen Con last year. This game is called The Lost Dutchman, and it is a exploration tile laying game. That the theme of it is each person, and it handles up to 5 people, is a prospector, and you are trying to find gold and hopefully the Lost Dutchman mine. If you have some time and you got a few moments of the boss looking over your shoulder, and you're at work and you want to just Google up Lost Dutchman, or you can do it at home too for that matter. Google up Lost Dutchman mine. It's a pretty interesting, I guess, real thing. Basically, a German prospector, and that's Dutchman. That's why it became known as Dutchman. Reportedly went off into the wilds, and I believe it was in Arizona, if I remember correctly. And he went out and said that he knew of a gold mine out there, whatever, in this area of the desert, and he never came back, and so they went out searching for him, whatever, and they just eventually thought that something bad had befallen him, and he died. And so years later, they found the dude's skeleton, and what was is like, okay, we'll find that he died of exhaustion, or he ran out of water, or whatever. But what was interesting is actually they found like 2 bullet holes in the guy's skull. And of course that's been debated or whatever. But I'm paraphrasing here, and you can go read the rest of it. But so that kind of spurred a lot of interest in the whole situation, because amongst his belongings, there was like some notes or a pad of paper or something, journal, if you will, and it said that he had found the mine, and like he had listed off some cryptic clues as to where it might be, and so now since then, people have gone off and gone searching for the Lost Dutchman mine, thinking that somewhere in the wildlands they'll be able to find this this treasure trove of gold. And it's still, to this day, as recently I think as in 2010, people have lost their lives, going out and hiking and trying to find this lost treasure. So this game by Patrick Nickel it pits the players against each other, and they are trying to locate the lost mine, and also they are going to run into lots of nefarious little critters that live in the desert, and run into evil spirits and traps and what have you. And it's a really interesting game, and it's really quite fun actually. And it's a little lighter, and it's got it uses a lot of dice, and it's very random. But hopefully I'll show you the gameplay, and you can figure out if it's something you want to know, and then I'll tell you exactly why I have enjoyed playing this. All right, so here we go. Here we are. This is the setup for a 2-player game of Lost Dutchman. I just used green and purple. You see little prospecting dig meeples. These are kind of cool looking. I'll give you a better look at those. Yeah, neat. And then you also have one of these dudes with an axe. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Each person gets a die with their color. It doesn't really matter about that. Basically, any 6-sided die would work, but it is kind of cool. They did include a colored die for each person. This little meeple up here is the ghost of the Lost Dutchman. Ooh, okay. There's these tiles up here where you'll be exploring. There's these 2 camps. You start up in this mining camp. There's a base camp there. Whenever you go to one of the camps, if you land on it, you get to either heal 2 health that you've lost due to the fact that you've been wandering around the desert, or you can increase one of your attributes by 1. Now, you've been wondering about the attributes. You get these cards. There are 5 of them. Boulder Brett, Crazy Uncle Greg, Ernest Evelyn, Clever David, Elusive Ed. So you can see that these 3, they get an item to start with. He starts with the pickaxe, backpack, or climbing gear, I should say. and the mystical crystal. And like these two, they don't, but they get better stats. You can kind of see like this person starts at 5 health, whereas like she starts at 3. And you know, Boulder Brett has 3 vigor, 1 foresight, 1 ingenuity. And here we have Crazy Uncle. He's got 3, 3, and 1. So while these guys don't start with any equipment, they do have better stats to start with. To keep track of your stats, you get these little tokens, like so, and you just place them on the corresponding spots on your sheet, like so. And you'll move those up and down on the spots as need be. So if you lose health, you go down like that, and so on and so forth. Now, I should mention that you don't ever get killed if you ever if your health ever drops below 1, you are considered exhausted. And if your stats ever drop, like 3 vigor, let's say something bad happened to, well, actually let's go with foresight. Let's say something bad had happened to Boulder Brett and he lost 2 foresight. Well, you'd go down to a 0 foresight, and then Boulder Brett better make it to either a camp or have some sort of encounter that will increase his foresight back up. Because if he ever loses another point of foresight after he gets to 0, he would also become exhausted. And when you get exhausted, you lose all your unburied treasures. And you might be saying, what's an unburied treasure? I'll explain that in just a little bit. And you have to go back to the beginning camp, and then you basically, it's very bad because you lose a possibility of getting a lot of points. That's how that works. So I set up, each one of these stacks is a 5-tile stack. At the beginning of the game, each person gets to turn over 3 tiles just to kind of get an idea of what's out there. So they put these little indents on here, I believe, I'm guessing, and not just to look cool, but also so it's easier to grab. So like, here's this would be an ally, and I'll show that to you actually. So I can kind of show you some of the different tiles. So these are just turning over 3 each. Here's an ally. If you land this person, you get to grab her. And it said, discard this tile to increase all skill attributes by 2. So that'd be kind of a nice one to find, right? So we put that one there, so we know that's there. And then we turn this one over. And then this is actually a like kind of a calamity. You can see up there it says Valley Fever. And you notice that there's an attribute right there. That is the Foresight attribute. And there's a 5 there. So if you were to land on this spot, you would have to roll your die, add your Foresight attribute, and try to get higher than that. And so, you know, that would succeed because I just rolled a 5. And if you better it, you get the reward. So in this case, you get add 1 Foresight and add 2 points. These little treasure right here, that'd be worth 2 points. So you keep this tile, and you'd have that at the end of the game. If you fail, you would lose a Foresight. So that's how that would work. So, but okay, so we know that guy's there. And then you might be wondering, well, if I know there's going to be a calamity there, why would I go? I'll explain that in just a little bit. Not only if you think you can win, you get something pretty cool, but, you know, there's a lot to do with this board down here. Well, we'll turn one over. Ooh, and a treasure. So you can see it's a treasure, and then there's an 8 there. So this, if you can get this, and with these tokens, you have to bury them, and then you'd actually get those points at the end of the game. So this one would be worth 8 if you're able to bury them. And 3 more. Let's just grab them here quick. See if I find anything cool. Here's a magic crystal. If you land on that, this is the only way you can defeat evil spirits, is that you have to have one of these crystals to be able to do so. So that's always nice to have, just in case you run into an evil spirit out in the desert. We'll turn this guy over. Here's another treasure. And let's grab this one. And hey, another treasure. Alright, cool. So, you roll to see who goes first. I'll just say green goes first. And you'll also notice this map here. I should explain this to you really quickly. There's a 5 and a 6, a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7. These tokens are actually put out onto these spots at random. And you flip over these first 3. If on your turn you defeat a challenge of either of one of these numbers, so in this case, you know, anything. So like if you defeated this challenge, which was a challenge of 5, your character then will get to move along this path, say like this one right here, move along that path and go like right there, and then they can reveal the next location. And the whole point is that if you can move along the path long enough, you can get up here, which is the Lost Dutchman's mine. And as long as the ghost isn't there to protect against it, you'd be able to, one, end the game and gain a 15-point bonus by getting the Lost Dutchman's gold. But anyway, let's say green goes first. We'll roll this die. This die is really cool and chunky. It has numbers on 1, 2, and 3, and it also has these, which is a special action. I'll explain that in a moment. So with a 3, I can move this 3 spaces. Now you can't ever go back where you go, but you can move wherever you like. So this is an 8. I really want to go there. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now when you claim a treasure, you just take it like so, and you leave that up like that. And then you turn the next tile over, but you don't reveal it. So there's another treasure there, and it's got a 1 on it, and I'll leave that there. So that's green's turn. So now purple will go, and they'll roll, and they also got a 3. Now here's something that they can do. This isn't going to be optimal, but I want to show this because they can also move 3. They can go 1, 2, 3, and they've landed on another spot with another player. Before you do the tile, you have to draw one of these tiles, which is a player event. It means that 2 players have landed on the same spot, so you turn over one of these tiles and you read it. So then it says, every player rolls their action die and may bury a treasure tile that is equal to or less than their roll. And this is how you bury treasure, one of the ways. And so, well, the other person's got one is this person with an 8, so this player event doesn't really work. But that's something cool that happens whenever the players meet up with each other, and it can be beneficial or it can hurt certain people and so on and so forth. So it's something kind of neat. But then green's going to take, and unfortunately that happens before he's able to take the tile, so he wasn't able to actually use it to bury his gold. Well, we'll take that, we'll turn the next one over, and we don't resolve the tile. And this one says, decrease water. And so if somebody lands on this spot, there are these tiles right here, and these are the water level. And they start at 6, and they go down to a 1. If ever you go get through all of these, and you discard the one, that's also triggers the end of the game. So the 2 ways to end the game are to either get rid of all the water, or have somebody claim the Lost Dutchman's gold. So play continues, so green goes, and they get a 1. So let's just go here. Let's say that he's got a 4 foresight. So he's going to roll his die to see if he can defeat that. I got a 4, so 4 plus 4 is 8. He defeated the 5. So we'll take that tile, and as I said, because of the rewards, we'll add 1 foresight to the character, and he also has 2 gold. This will be worth 2 gold or 2 points at the end of the game. We place that down over there because that's his. And we don't turn over a tile because he defeated that one. But remember, he defeated a challenge rating 5. So now green can take this, or you can take this one down here. So he's going to go here because it actually will open up 2 possibilities. This one and that one. So we'll turn this one over. That's a 5, 6. And you'll turn this one over. That's another 5, 6. So if he can defeat another 5 or 6 task, then he'll be able to move closer to the Lost Dutchman mine. So here's purple. Purple gets a 3. Well, purple's going to go claim that really cool helper that'll give him 2 bonus to every skill whenever he chooses to discard it. And you can kind of see how the game progresses now. A couple of things. Oh, I shouldn't have turned that over. I apologize. That doesn't happen. There are a couple of things that I should mention. If you ever deplete a row, let's just say like you use up all of those and that's gone, this spot still counts. It's called a void. It still counts as a spot, so you can move through it. You just can't end your movement in that location. And then I got lucky and I turned over this tile. Sometimes you run into critters or monsters, not really monsters, but you run into animals. And like this is obviously an evil looking pig boar, or a javelina, as it's called. It's a vigor test of 7, so it's kind of tough. And look, you get, well, if you beat it, you get 4 health for defeating it. I guess like you eat it or something, you know, because it's got a lot of meat. But if you lose to it, you lose 4. And if you ever tie the number, nothing happens. It just stays there, and you're able to just fight it to a draw. But if you look at the bonus, it's kind of tough to see. But you can see it's +3, 4, 5, or 6. And then this. If you, for every one of these you defeat, they increase in value. So if you ended the game and you had defeated 3 of these guys, each one would be worth 5 points. If you only defeated 1, that 1 would be worth 3. That's how that works. So, there's a few other tiles, and I'm just going to kind of maybe dig through here and find one. You can find these items like this, the pickaxe, which allows you to re-roll against anyone, you discard to re-roll, or discard it to bury any treasure tile. And there's like a crevice that when you land on it, it automatically just allows you to go, place your token on any tile of your choice. So you can just move to wherever you want to react. And I'm trying to find one that says a bandit on it, and I do apologize. I probably should have dug around and found that before the thing started. Oh, here's that evil ghost guy I was talking about. And you'll notice that the ghost, or the evil spirit, it's a 7, and you need to have magic crystal in order to defeat it. But there's a bandit tile, and when you get a bandit tile, it isn't bandits that are coming to attack you in any way. It's bandits that are, you get to be a bandit and actually try to defeat somebody else and take their gold that they haven't buried. Obviously, if you've buried your gold, they can't come and find you and take that from you. And you can either try to fight somebody to take it, or you can try to steal it. And when you fight somebody, you get to you both roll a die, and you compare the results and also your attribute that the die is affecting. And whoever manages to get the higher roll, if you're the attacker, you would get to take their treasure for defeating them, and you get to take that treasure. If they, here we go. Sorry about that. It took a little longer than I wanted to. But here's a bandit tile, and if you land that highest roll, and you add their highest attribute. So like if somebody's got a 4 vigor and the other person's got a 3 foresight, you just roll and add those. And then if you're the attacker and you defeat them, you get to take one of their treasures. If they win, they don't take anything from you, but they prevent you from taking it. Or if you want to, you can try to steal, and you just pick one of their tiles, but you got to roll 2 higher than the value. So you can only try to steal like small value treasures. Like this one's a 1. So you can try to steal this, and if you rolled a 3 or higher, you'd steal this treasure from somebody. Now, I showed you that pickaxe that allows you to bury the treasure automatically, and I also showed you the that player event that does as well. When you roll the die and you get this result, there's 1 or 2 things you can do. You can either bury a treasure, which means that you have to actually roll dice, and you have to, on 2 dice, you have to roll higher than the value of the treasure. So like for this 8, you'd have to take this die, roll a 2, and then I'd have to get a 6. And then I'd bury this treasure. When you bury a treasure, you just place it face down in front of you, meaning that nobody can take that from you. Alternatively, when you get that, you can take the ghost, and you can decide that somebody's treasure is haunted. When their treasure is haunted, they're unable to bury that treasure. They can't do it until they, in turn, either roll this number roll this result on the die on a number, and they can move the ghost either back to haunting as mine, or to somebody else's treasure. So then it no longer is affecting them. You can, if you want, forego your entire turn and fight the ghost to try to bury your treasure. In which case, you have to you add up all of your stats, and then you have to beat a 15, because the ghost has a power of 15 to defeat him. And then you can fight him off. He goes back to his mine, and then you can bury your treasure as normal. Now, one thing you have to remember is that if you see somebody like getting close, like say they're right here, and you know they made a path and they defeated critters or landslides or things like that, or just calamities that are out here, and they've gotten to this point and they're one step away. They've revealed this. It's a 6-7. You know, if they get lucky and they run into something like a rattlesnake or, you know, something that they're going to be able to, like a javelina that's a 7, they're going to end the game. They're going to go here and they're going to go to the Lost Dutchman's mine. Try to make sure somebody gets the ghost back up there, so they at least have to fight something to be able to take the gold. Now, if you get up there, once again, he's a strength of 15. You total up all of your stats, except for your health. The health is the 3 stats of vigor, foresight, and ingenuity. You know, just so you remember, these 3. This one, this one, this one. You total those up, and if you defeat, if you get a 15 or better, I'm sorry, if you get more than 15, you defeat the ghost, and then you claim the Lost Dutchman's gold, which is worth 15 points, and then that ends the game immediately. There's no like catch-up turns or anything like that. And everybody will total up all of their points. And their points they get are what they get from the things that they defeated and the treasure that they have buried. So everybody totals up their points, and whoever obviously has the most gold wins the game. And if there's 2 people tied, whoever claimed the Lost Dutchman's gold is the winner. So there you go. That is how you play the Lost Dutchman. It's pretty straightforward. It's just an exploration, tile laying or tile discovery game with a lot of dice and a lot of action going on. But it is it's very challenging, and it's one of the games that at 2 players it's fun because you can kind of be a little leisurely and you can kind of wander around and see what you find. But with 5 players, it's very, very fast. And I found with 5 players, you go through your water really, really quick because people are finding those tiles, you know, very, very fast. And so that's usually how the game ends with that. With lesser players, it seems like somebody eventually wins just by finding the mine at the end. But let me tell you exactly what I think about Lost Dutchman. I'm sorry. I'm tired of doing the box flip. Plus, I'm kind of worried about this game because Patrick sent me this, and yeah, I'm talking to you, Patrick. He sent me a box with a big giant gouge in the back. You know, well, maybe he didn't send that to me on purpose, but he did send it to me. You know what? I know a lot of you are like, hey, you got a game for free. Shut up. So I'm just giving you the business, Patrick. I'm sure it happened en route to me. Or maybe it happened after I got it and I stepped on it in my sleep or something. But, anywho, so what did I think of Lost Dutchman? Well, in the preview, I said that I dug the game. It isn't a very complex game. I mean, I think a lot of us have played games of this type, or at least used some of the different mechanics or the different experiences that are very much like it. You know, discovering a tile, you know, turning over a card, basically. You know, activating that card, reacting to it, rolling a die, taking an action, those types of things. It's not exactly the most difficult of games to figure out. You know, but it is fun because it is highly competitive, and there is a bit of I like the mystery of it, and I like the going to the spots and, like, you know, trying to you know, find, you know, and hoping you get lucky and then turning the tile over. I mean, there's that whole expectation aspect of the game, and that's really fun. You know, and I like the whole leveling up of the players, you know, how you slowly get better. You know, you can go to the camps and get better, or if you defeat you know, certain monsters, you know, you or monsters. I'm thinking it's like Talisman. Well, in a way, it's kind of like Talisman. You know, go somewhere, turn it over, see if you fight something, you do so. but when you defeat certain encounters, you better yourself in some way. It's nice that there's no like player elimination, even if you do get knocked out. I mean, you just go back to the starting spot. I mean, it can be really debilitating if that happens to you, because you lose a lot of the stuff that you've been building up. I do like the fact that the game has like a definitive kind of separate entities of the game. You have to locate the tiles and explore them and have fortuitous conclusions to the locations that you go to. But then you have to make sure that you bury your gold, so that's actually worth money at the end. And then you actually have to make sure that you plot out going to spots to make sure that you defeat the right level of challenge so you can continue moving on that other map to try to get to the Lost Dutchman mine. And I also really like sticking the Dutchman's ghost on other people, so that they can't bury their treasure. And you just got to watch yourself though, because if somebody starts getting close to the end, you need to get that Dutchman back over there so you can have them prevent them from just taking over getting the extra 15 points at the end. For nothing. I mean, at least make them roll. I mean, even if it's like a 1 in 6 shot that they'll fail. I mean, at least make them take that chance. Who's gonna like this game? I mean, anybody that, like I said, kind of likes that whole roll and move aspect of games, where you move somewhere, you take it. Games that maybe don't have the most strategy to it, because you can't really plan, but there's some tactics to it. I mean, you can. Try to make sure you're around a certain area, so you wait to roll a certain number, so you can try to stay near one of the 2 camps, so if something bad happens, you can always go back to the camp and heal up or raise one of your attributes. You can try to, make sure that, you have the different equipment that allows you to take extra turns, or you can try to land on crevices so they can basically teleport you to another spot on the map. And so there's that different there's those different tactical choices you can make. You're not gonna like it if you don't like chaos and you don't like direct confrontation, because there is the different things that you can do as far as the bandit tiles will allow you to steal things. You got the ghost you can sick on people, stuff like that, where you actively get to impede somebody else's progress through the game, which is something I like to be able to do. I mean, I like, and if you watch some of these videos, I like soulless Euros as much as anyone, and I really dig games that are deeply brain burning and stuff like that. Where I'm just tending my own garden and I'm trying to make a better garden than everybody else, but I really can't affect anybody. I like those games, but I do really like games where if somebody's doing really well, I can put the brakes on them a little bit and knock them down a peg or two. So then hopefully when it comes around my turn, I can better myself. I can catch up. Those things. So it's also very, very quick. And recently, after working the same job that I had for almost 8 years, and working a very, very early morning shift, I got a new position at my workplace, and I am actually working more normal hours, and so I'm actually working a lunch hour that coincides with a few people I know at my job that are also game players. And so we've been doing our lunch hours, and we've been playing games, and and me and my buddy Paul at work just recently played this, and it takes a half hour, 45 minutes to play. We had people coming over asking us, hey, what's this? What's going on? Checking out what we were playing. And so it was just kind of I like this game because it's light. It's light enough that I can play it quickly and have a good time while I'm enjoying my sandwich. And I can also, it isn't just, it actually has some substance to it, and it actually makes me think. And we were able to have a very spirited, fun time, and it was just a good way to spend my lunch hour. So, there you go. Lost Dutchman. If you're looking for a tile laying exploration, roll some dice game, I strongly suggest you check this out and see if it's something you want to add to your collection. If you have any questions or concerns, by all means, let me know, and then I'll get back to those questions and answer them as quickly as I possibly can. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I greatly appreciate it. And you, out there in the board game world, have yourself an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.